Welcome back, Karptastic ladies and gentlemen, to another Wizard Wednesday challenge episode in this PTCGO series. I've been looking forward to having a nice and relaxing time here with you today. If you want to skip to certain parts of the video, click the annotations that I will have put on the left hand side of the screen, or click the timestamps in the description. We shall wait for a second or two here until the deck wizard decides to load. Ever since the update came out 2 weeks ago, the game has been quite laggy for me in certain parts, and certain parts of the game have stopped working, like the deck overview. Very annoying. I hope they put out a patch and fix it up pretty soon here. So we'll dive right into the challenge right now. We'll start with the first step of the challenge, which is selecting an energy type for the type of Pokemon that we want to play around with today. And we are going to play around with fighting Pokemon in the standard format. And I will click the pick random button, which will make the deck wizard generate a completely random deck for us based around fighting Pokemon. Although I also see some colorless Pokemon, so I guess that's okay. We'll have a look at our fighting Pokemon. I recently made a Primal Groudon EX deck, so I will get rid of the Primal Groudon and the Groudon, because it's been too recent that I've made a deck around the Groudon and the Primal Groudon. Let's take a look at Hawlucha EX with 130 hit points and counter attack as the ability. If this Pokemon is your active Pokemon and is attacked, is damaged by an opponent's attack, puts 2 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon, has got the Moonsault Stomp attack, does 60 damage plus 40 more if there's a stadium in play, and has got a lightning weakness, which is a little bit annoying in the current format because of Joltik and Manectric and stuff like that, which can really easily KO this Hawlucha with only 130 hit points. Let's take a look at Dugtrio. Dugtrio with the Earthquake hits for 60 damage plus 10 damage to each of your benched Pokemon. That is actually a really interesting attack, because it only costs a single fighting energy, and if you attach a strong energy, you are hitting for 80 damage plus a muscle band. That's 100 damage just for a single energy. Also has got the Rock Tumble attack, hits for 60, is not affected by resistance, and does cost a fighting energy and a double colorless energy. Yeah, I actually quite like the Dugtrio there. Very interesting card. And then we have the Lugia. Most of you will be familiar with the Lugia with the Aero Ball, so I'm not going to go into detail in it. You can pause the video if you want to read the card. But we'll take a look at the Dodrio with the Retreat 8. As long as this Pokemon is on your bench, your active Pokemon's retreat cost is 2 colorless less. Let's have a look at our Dugtrio. What's his retreat cost? Only a single energy, so if you are going to build a deck around Dugtrio with the deck wizard here, I don't think we'll have any use for the Dodrio. So for now we'll get rid of the Dodrio. Yeah, I think that's our best bet. Get rid of the Dodrio and the Doduo as the basic. We'll also get rid of the Hawlucha as well as the Lugia here. Leave the Dugtrios in a list. Then we'll take a look at the trainer cards. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trainer cards. Alright, so part 2 of the challenge is that I have to select at least 1 Pokemon line and half of the trainer cards in the deck list before I can move on to the third step. I've already selected the Pokemon line. We are going to work with Dugtrio today, build a deck around Dugtrio. And then the trainer cards, we have to select 4 of them. Wait, I double counted the listener, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so 7 divided by 2, that's 3.5. We'll round it up to 4. So we need to pick 4 of these trainer cards. Let's have a look at the Aqua Diffuser. I don't think we'll have any use for it, so we'll get rid of the Aqua Diffuser. We'll also get rid of the First of Giant Plants. And then, this is interesting. I might actually leave all 5 of these cards in the list for now, because the rule is that I have to pick at least half of the trainer cards, and 5 is definitely more than half. I can still remove one of them later on if I want. I just may not remove more than 3 from the original cards. So as long as I have 4, that will be fine. So we'll work with this and we'll go into the third step of the wizard challenge, which is that I need to make a deck list myself, which includes all of the trainer cards you see here and the Pokemon cards, so the Dugtrio and the Diglett. Not in the same amount, so I can, for example, have just one Lysander, but it needs to include all of the cards you see here, and I'm gonna work on that right now. Be right back and show you my final list. Alright, I am back with the final list, and it was so much fun putting this together. I'm smiling big time here. I'm looking forward to going into the battles here and see how this list will perform, because part of this challenge is I cannot test the list while I make it, so I haven't tested this at all, but I just like the idea so much, and I want to test it. The strategy behind this is so silly, but I just want to have fun with it, even if it fails big time in the battles. So first off, before we go into the strategy, let me go over find the cards from the original Deck Wizards list, because we need to check if they are still here. Obviously, the Diglett and the Dugtrio line is right there, but what about the trainer cards? There were 5 of them. I had the option to get rid of one of them. I got rid of the Pokemon catcher, so we only need to look for 4. Here's the level balls in the top right corner. There's a switch. Here's the Flowstone, that's number 3, and there is the Lysander, which is number 4, so we can put a check mark next to that part of the challenge. Then let's get into the strategy. Dugtrio will be our main attacker with the Earthquake, and I am going to try to take advantage of the Earthquake's effect, which puts 10 damage on each of our benched Pokemon. I'm going to try to take advantage of that with Dodrio here. This is a different Dodrio than the one that was originally in the Deck Wizards list. This one has the Rage attack, which hits for 20 damage plus 10 more damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. And you can see me coming from miles away here. We are going to try to synergize this Dodrio's Rage attack with the Earthquake's attack from the Dugtrio. Or with the Earthquake attack from Dugtrio. I don't know why I said Earthquakes, and that's kind of weird. So yeah, we are going to try to pull off that nice synergetic strategy there. Dugtrio will be hitting for 60 plus 20 from a muscle band, since I do run 4 muscle bands. That's 80 damage, and then potentially 20 more from the strong energy. 2 copies of strong energy, only 2 copies, since our other Pokemon cannot make use of it, so it would be a dead card in our hand if we run more than 2 copies. So 60 plus 20 plus 20, that's 100, and then potentially 20 more if we are facing an EX and have the Fighting Stadium in play. That's 120 damage just for a single energy. If we perform 2 Earthquakes, then our Dodrio will have 2 damage counters on it. 20 plus 20, that's 40, plus a muscle band, that's 60. So if our Dugtrio were to get knocked out, we can come in and hit for 60 after we hit for 120 with the Earthquake here, and that's 180 total. That is enough for a knockout on most EX Pokemon. Now I also run Rainbow Energies to increase the damage counters on our Dodrio when we need to. And also to make use of the Durant here. The Durant is in this deck to make use of possibly another win condition, which is decking out our opponent, and then we can make use of the Scrape Down. This Durant will have plenty of damage counters on it because of Dugtrio's Earthquake attack, or because of the Rainbow Energy that we attach, so we don't need to worry about that. And then we can go for a Scrape Down and discard the top 4 cards of our opponent's deck. Finally, there's also a Dene. The Dene has 2 main functionalities. First off, to get out some basic Pokemon with its entrainment attack, to get out our Digletts and our Doduos, and secondly against Yveltal with the energy short. Because Yveltal is lightning weak, we can hit for just a single energy for 20 damage times the amount of energy attached to both active Pokemon, and Yveltal typically has 2 or more energies attached, so we are hitting for 120 just with this energy short. Slap on a muscle band, and that is 140. That's a ton of damage just against an Yveltal. And that's it for the Pokemon. Obviously we have Shaymin for setup for drawing through our deck. So then I think we shall go over the trainer cards quickly here. 3 level ball to get out our Diglets, Doduos, Trainer's Mail for consistency, Ultra Ball to get out our Shaymins, VS Seeker for all the supporters that we run. The draw supporters are 2 Birches and then 3 Sycamores, as well as this AZ, which indirectly can be used to pick up Shaymin, but also to pick up any Pokemon on our bench which is close to being knocked out because of the damage counters that we are putting on it. And probably that will be Durant or a Dene, because they have the lowest hit points out of all of our Pokemon. Now I also want to mention here that we can search out any of our Pokemon with the level balls that we have, except for Shaymin. So these level balls here, they are very useful within this deck. Then finally 1 Hex Maniac from the supporters to counter Trevenant Break and Greninja Break and other annoying abilities. And 2 Wally. Wally will help us to evolve in our first turn if we are going second, so we can immediately put pressure on my opponent with an Earthquake attack. And that's basically it. I want to say or mention one final thing about the Silent Lab. Why am I running Silent Lab when I run Shaymin? Well, Silent Lab can come in handy if we are going first. We can play down our Shaymins first, draw through our deck, set us up, set our bench up, set our active Pokemon up, and then play down the Silent Lab and make it so that my opponent cannot use the Shaymins of his own. And this Silent Lab can be very powerful in slowing down our opponent a little bit, since we do have to evolve, so we are a little bit slower than most opponents out there. And that's why I included Silent Lab in this list. And that's gonna be it for the deck analysis. We are ready to go into the battles, and I cannot wait. I'm so eager to go into the battles and see what this deck can do. Leave a like if you enjoy silly deck ideas like this, and subscribe to my channel for more competitive, fun and silly deck ideas, and I'll see you in the battles. Alright, let's see who we will be facing for a battle for honor and a prize in the prize wheel. It is LIL, and I couldn't read the rest. I was too busy talking. LIL P0K3R87, so Lil Poker 87, something like that, with a fancy haircut there, very stylish. And I didn't really see what type of Pokemon she was playing, and we start off with a really bad hand there. That is a terrible hand. At least we have a Wally, so we can attack in our first turn if we are going second. I didn't pay attention to the coin flip, so I'm actually not sure if we are going first, and we are going first, so we actually don't have a use for the Wally now, because we have the Dugtrio and both of our Dodrio in hand. Well, I'll attach an energy to the Diglett. I'll attach a... no, I'll keep the Muscle Band in hand. You never know if my opponent plays a Starling Megaphone. And I will Wally. I'll Wally the Dugtrio. Hopefully our opponent judges us, so we can get a better hand, or even red cards. A red card would be good, because this is just terrible. This is one of the worst hands to start with, basically. Looks like our opponent doesn't have a good hand either. Attaches a Lucky Helmet. At least he's got that going for him or for her. You never know here on the PTCGO, because some people here, they play with a female avatar, so even though they are it's a male playing behind the screen. We'll attach a Muscle Band to our Dugtrio, and even should we attach another energy? Maybe not. We'll power up the Dodrio and we'll hit for our first Earthquake for 100 damage. This could be a very quick game here. Very quick indeed. If my opponent cannot find another basic, that's gonna be a knockout in the next turn. I think my opponent cannot knock us out. He can only use Swift Lunge and make us switch into the Dodrio, but then we will switch back into the Dugtrio, go for the knockout for sure here, because the Dodrio cannot knock out the Gallade just yet. And yes, we do see the switch, so we will retreat, take a game, very short game here to start off with. Hopefully we can find a longer game next. We'll, oh, a tooltip. Okay, I thought that disable tooltips. Yeah, there's tooltips in game because I reinstalled the PTCGO. It's been crashing on me today, crashing quite a bit and disconnecting and whatnot. I really hope they patch the game really soon because it's very buggy. No point looking at the stats really. The game speaks for itself, I think. Let's find ourselves another opponent. Look how laggy this is. That is not my software, that is really the game. That's not my recording software. When I'm not recording, it produces the same lag, the same jerky animations. And that started to happen ever since they patched the game 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. Ever since they updated the Unity engine, I think. We're facing Sandolph with a Night March deck, Night March Vesper Queen. That's gonna be my guess. I don't know what else it could be. Hopefully we can go second and then Wally and get the first knockout. If that's the case. If not, we'll probably see one of our Pokemon get knocked out straight away by the Night Marchers. Or getting a Hexmaniac, that will be pretty nice as well. We will go first. I'm not gonna risk it. I'm not gonna risk finding the Wally in our first turn if we are going second. We'll promote the Diglett, it's the only thing we can do. And doesn't look like we'll be able to find the Hexmaniac for our first turn. We'll have to go with the Birch because we have a pretty bad hand. Unless we top deck an Ultra Ball so we can dig for a Shaymin. We'll for sure get out another Diglett with the level ball that we have. There it is, there's Night March. We could Wally, but there's no point to that at this point in the game. I think the Durant might come in handy against Night March. That's a sure thing. The Durant could mill him down at some point. I'll attach a Muscle Band to the Diglett. I'll attach a Rainbow Energy as well. And I'm gonna Birch myself. Very unfortunate. I really wanted to dig for the Hexmaniac and we get one of the worst hands possible, if not the worst, from that Birch. My goodness, that was terrible. You don't want to have such a hand against Night March. We'll get out a Dugtrio so we can attack in the next turn. And we will pass the turn to our opponents. This is gonna be very difficult for us this match. Seeing as though what we drew from the Birch, we are completely relying on a top deck with 43 cards in our deck. My opponent just attaches a Psychic Energy. Wow, I was not expecting that. So you won't see a knockout just yet and passes the turn. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe that. Oh, we have an opportunity here to win and we are gonna have to let it go to waste. I cannot believe that this is happening. We have the perfect opportunity to knock out Night March in our first turn and it's not gonna happen because we drew so bad from that Professor Sycamore, the Birch. Birch let us down big time here. There's a Muscle Band, doesn't have another energy, even though that wouldn't matter because he doesn't have any Night Marches in the discard pile. I don't know why he didn't use the Ultra Ball in his first turn. What happened there? Or did he top deck that Ultra Ball? He must have top decked the Ultra Ball then. He's gonna use Unknown, so maybe my opponent doesn't run Shaymin. Maybe this is a Night March deck without Shaymin. And another pass of the turn. Alright, we get another Birch. Come on, Birch, don't let us down this time. It's Tails again. Okay, this is a little bit better, but still it's not very good. Even though we'll take the game here, this was a pretty sad show, both from me and my opponent. But hey, at least we take the win, regardless of the resistance there from the Pumpkaboo. And that was yet again another very short game. So we'll find ourselves one more final opponent here, and hopefully a game that's gonna last a little bit longer. It doesn't matter if we lose, because we've already got our wins for the day. But I'd love to see a little bit of a longer game where we can pull off our strategy, our fun strategy, and our very silly strategy with our Dodrios. It's a fighting deck from Killingsworth that we are facing, meaning that our Dodrio is gonna come in handy here since Dodrio is fighting resistant. So that could be fairly interesting. We might have to go second. My opponent is gonna decide our fate. I'd be very happy if he let us go first. I'll be very thankful to my opponent. I hope he hears my prayers, although he might not, because he seems to be inactive. Maybe just fell asleep behind his PC screen or something like that. Or on his mobile, because apparently this game is more stable on a mobile platform than on the PC at this point. So we'll promote a Diglett. We'll probably attach an energy and muscle band. Look at the trainer's mail. Put down our Shaymin. It's a Garchomp deck. Oh, that means we are gonna have trouble because we have to go second. Luckily, our opponent is mulligan a couple of times. Yeah, if we could go first, we have a much better chance against Garchomp than if we are going second, because now we won't be able to get off the first hit unless we can get a Wally into our Dugtrio. But it's not very likely since we only run 2 Wallies, so we'll have to be a little bit lucky. And if we can do that, then we can start putting some pressure on my opponent. Otherwise, our opponent is going to start putting pressure on us first, because we might very well see some rare candies. We get a Sycamore and a Doduo from those mulligans. Maybe I shouldn't have drew into these cards. Kinda regret it now, because now we are stuck with 3 cards that we cannot use. There's an energy, a fighting stadium, which can only be used against our Shaymins, and a Sycamore from my opponent. Interesting. He plays Bursting Balloon. That is interesting as well. Usually you see Focus Sash being played. And a pass of the turn. Oh my goodness, we top deck an energy. Are you kidding me? Do I actually want to attach to the Diglett? Might as well. I'm gonna take a gamble here and hope that it stays alive. We'll take a look at the trainer's mail. Is this a Wally? It is not. It's another muscle band. We'll put the muscle band onto the Doduo, then we'll put down the Shaymin, draw into 2 more cards. Maybe get a Wally from those 2 cards, you never know. It's a Dodrio and a Dugtrio. Okay, that was not very good. We'll use our Sycamore, we'll discard our entire hand. See if we can find some more basics, because the Diglett is most likely going to go down. There's another Diglett. That's pretty good. And a trainer's mail, I'll take a look at it. Oh, there is our Wally. A little bit too late. I might as well get it out in my hand. And we will switch the Diglett on the bench into the active spot. So if my opponent decides to try to get a knockout, we won't lose our energy and our muscle band. And we'll pass our turn. And give our opponent a chance to evolve into Garchomp, which can one-hit KO us with that muscle band, but he does not seem to be able to get out the Garchomp. He evolves into the Gabite, and that's interesting. So I don't know why he didn't use Corina for a rare candy and then rare candy into the Garchomp. Maybe he doesn't run rare candy, but I would be very surprised if he did not. Alright, he gets a red card. I don't mind getting red carded here with this hand. It's not the best hand that we have. Okay, as long as we get something to draw with from the red cards, I'm fine. Yeah, there's a Sycamore. I kind of like that my opponent red carded us. And he doesn't knock out the Diglett either, so that's good as well. I'm gonna put down another Doduo, and then I'm gonna take a look at the trainer's mail. Counter the stadium with my Silent Lab. We get a level ball. That's good. I'm gonna use the level ball to get out a Dugtrio. probably evolve the Diglett in the active spot. I think we can find an energy for it. Here is the Dugtrio. We only have one more Dugtrio left. Did I already discard one? Yes, I did. But we have the Super Rod in deck. I saw it. I saw it when I played the Trainer's Mail, I think. So we'll counter the Stadium. And then we will Sycamore our hand away. Sycamore the Wally away. There is a fighting energy. Is that gonna be a knockout? There's gonna be a knockout on the Gabite, so yet again a very short game here. I can't believe how short the games are, just because my opponent cannot bench anything. Okay, so that means I'm gonna go for one more game here. I really want to see or find a game where things play out a little bit more excitingly. Where there's some tension as to who will win the game. And maybe that will be the case with Freeland. There we go. Freeland with a water and a psychic deck. Probably a Seismito deck. He's got a Pikachu hat, I think. I think that's a Pikachu hat. And a Pikachu outfit. Didn't really pay attention to it when the game loaded during the loading screen. We'll have to redraw our hands. I kind of prefer redrawing my hands, and that wasn't a very good hand for us. And we start off with no basic once again, so we are going to give our opponent a couple more cards. And seems like we start off with a Doduo. If my opponent is playing Seismito, that could help us out, because he cannot one-hit KO the Doduo with a Quaking Punch. And that would put 50 on the Doduo, meaning that we are doing 70 already with the Rage. My opponent starts off with a Remoraid, so maybe this is a Trevenant Break deck. I'm gonna guess that's the case. Trevenant Break, we already see the Dimension Valley. His Professor Birch hits Tails. That's too bad for my opponent. I'm probably gonna counter the Stadium with my Silent Lab. I think that's the best thing to do. And my opponent... Oh, he gets a Ghastly out. Ghastly, and what else does he have? Just an energy. So my opponent is left without a hand. Is this not a Trevenant deck then? That's curious. That's curious indeed. So we'll play down an energy on the Diglett, we'll put down the Silent Lab, and then we'll Sycamore our hand away, see if we can maybe get another Diglett, which we do. We get a VS Seeker for the Sycamore in the next turn. I'm not gonna play the Shaymin down, there's no point playing the Shaymin down right now, just for those two cards that we would draw. So I'm gonna end my turn, and probably discard the Shaymin in the next turn, because we cannot even play it down. I don't know why I was talking about it. We have the Silent Lab in play. There's no point playing the Shaymin down whatsoever. I was nearly forgetting about the Silent Lab again, because I did forget about it in our first game, I think. Did my opponent just top deck another Birch? That was a pretty great top deck from my opponents. Or... no, he top decked a VS Seeker, I think. And there is the Octillery, so my opponent is going to start drawing into some cards here. This might turn out to be a very interesting match after all. But it is just the pass of the turn, so he definitely needs to find more basics. I will attach a Rainbow Energy to the Doduo, start powering up the Rage from the Dodrio, and then I'm gonna Sycamore these two energies into the discard pile and hopefully find a switch or a Float Stone. Either of the two. Otherwise we'll have to pay the retreat cost, discard that Rainbow Energy. And we get no switch, but we do have the Trainer's Mail to look for one. And there's just an AZ. We could AZ up the Doduo in the next turn, but then we would get rid of those damage counters, so I'm just gonna retreat probably. And I'm gonna get out another Doduo with this level ball. There's the Doduo that I was looking for. And then I'll get out another Dugtrio for our Diglett with the other level ball. Is that the last Dugtrio? Yes, it is. So there's no point benching another Diglett. Did we discard one Dugtrio? No, we did not. So one Dugtrio is prized. I'm gonna attach a Muscle Band to the Doduo actually. And then I'm gonna retreat it and go for an Earthquake. Start powering up the Rage attack from the Dodrios with our Earthquake. We have a Wally to evolve one of our Doduos in the next turn. And my opponent definitely needs to find a Floatstone for this Octillery if he wants it to survive, or another basic. Otherwise, oh, and another Birch. That's 3 Birches in a row. Hopefully my opponent can get a heads. Well, I wouldn't hope it for him, but if I were my opponent, I would be hoping for a head. So, oh, it looks like it's gonna be a Gengar and a Bats deck. Gengar Bats. That's actually a pretty good matchup for us. If he puts damage counters on our Dodrios, that helps us out even. So that could be pretty funny. But this Octillery will go down here. Definitely seems like it will go down. We have an X-Maniac. Oh, that's interesting. That X-Maniac can come in handy quite a bit. So I'm gonna Wally for now. I'm gonna Wally the most damaged Doduo on our bench into a Dodrio. And just gonna keep using the Earthquake. It's a bit sad that we had to use it just for that 10 hit points that were left on the Octillery. But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do to win the game here. And there is the last Dugtrio from our deck. We got it from the prizes. What did my opponent promote? It is invisible. Wow. Is that some new kind of effects? A new trainer card that makes your active Pokemon go invisible? Look at that. It's a Zubat. It's an invisible Zubat. Oh, and there it goes. Oh, never mind. It's an invisible Golbat that comes out to play as well. How interesting. I've never seen that before. It's just invisible. Wow. What is going on with the PTCGO? And I think this Golbat has resistance, so it will stay alive with 10 hit points if we attack with the Dugtrio. Unless we find a strong energy, then we can one-hit KO it. Otherwise, you won't be able to do that. Oh, and a rare candy into the Gengar. The Gengar with the Creep Show. If your opponent's active Pokemon has 3 or more damage counters on it, that Pokemon is knocked out. And I think we'll see a swoop across. There it goes from the invisible Golbat. Helping us out, powering up our Rage here. I don't really mind. Do I wanna... My opponent's probably gonna retreat into the Gengar in the next turn. Do we have a Lysander? We do have a Lysander. We could actually Lysander out the Gengar, which is the biggest threat on the board right now. We have a fair amount of backup attackers ready. I'm not sure if I... But then we are left without a hand, without a way to draw into cards. So I'm actually gonna use the Ultra Ball, discard the Dugtrio and the AZ, and get out another basic. How many cards does my opponent have left? 38. Oh, that's a little bit too much to go with the Durant. So we'll get out another Doduo actually. We'll bench the Doduo and then we'll use the Sycamore that we have in our discard pile to draw into some energy. So we need some energy attachments. And then in the next turns, if we have some VS Seekers, we can go with the Hex-Maniac or with the Lysander. Maybe we could find a strong energy, knock out this Golbat in one hit. That would be fine as well. I would kind of like that. But we do not find a strong energy. We only find a Muscle Band. and a stadium, so we'll just have to hit for 80 minus 20, that's 60. Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. We miss out on the knockout due to the resistance, and we bring our Dodrio in knockout range. Yeah, this if my opponent puts down a Crobat and puts it on the Dodrio, then the Dodrio has 10 hit points left. And then we are actually hitting for 20 plus 80. That's 120. That's actually pretty amazing for just a single energy. It's unfortunately not enough for a knockout on the Gengar. We are missing out on the knockouts with 10 hit points left on my opponent's Pokemon if we attack. Annoying tooltips. Let's get rid of those tooltips. And there's the retreat. My opponent's going to go for the knockout on the Dugtrio. And I will probably promote the Dodrio to respond, because it's the biggest liability on our bench right now. We do need to find an energy here. Alright, let's attach a muscle band to the Dugtrio. Then we'll take a look at the trainer's mail. We are down to 16 cards and we didn't manage to find any other energies except for that one that we had attached to our Dugtrio. Or did we? Yeah, we did actually. I just forgot already. Oh, we discarded a lot of energies. That explains a lot. But we haven't used our Super Rod yet, so we should be able to get them back. Do I want to play down the Durant? Kinda do. I don't mind playing down the Durant. I'm gonna look for another Dodrio with a level ball. So we are basically running out of Pokemon here. That's the only Pokemon that we have left. The ones on our bench and 2 more in our deck. My opponent says cool deck. He likes it. Oh, thank you very much. We'll have to go for another Sycamore. It's a silly idea, really. Yeah, it really is. So I don't know why I said that out loud. What I was typing. What? That doesn't even make sense. Oh my goodness, oh, this is not good. We miss out on the energy attachment. That's gonna be a knockout on our Dodrio. A free knockout for my opponent. Let's get back another Dodrio. Yep, that's too bad. We missed out on the attachment. We'll have to end our turn here. Yeah, he was thinking about Shaymin-EX Dugtrio. That's indeed a possibility as well, but Shaymin-EX is so easily knocked out by things like Trevenant. So that's why I didn't really went with Shaymin-EX. It's a very nice idea as well. It's a very silly idea, but it's a little bit more silly than the one we are playing, since the Shaymin-EX only has 30 hit points. So all that needs to happen is for the opponent to get out one Silent Fear on the field and he knocks out a bunch of Pokemon. So there's 30 on the Dodrio. I don't know why my opponent put it on the Dodrio. That must have been a mistake. Oh, and a Sinister Fog. Oh, look at that. That's interesting. That's why he did that. He's gonna put some damage counters on our other Pokemon. We will promote the Dugtrio. Maybe we can get another Rainbow Energy. We haven't seen any Rainbow Energies just yet, I think. Oh, we have seen one. And then we could go for a Scrape Down at some point. For now, we'll attack with the Dugtrio for 100 damage. And I might as well put down the Dene. We'll put down a Muscle Band on the Dodrio, and then we'll volley into another Dodrio. We need to start watching out for the deck out though. We are gonna hit for another earthquake attack, hitting our bench once again. This is definitely gonna be a very tough game for us to pull off. We are running out of steam, we are running out of resources. Our opponent is ahead in the prizes, so missing out on that energy attachments might cost us the game here. Even though technically we kind of have an advantage because the damage counters are working in our favor. And I think my opponent is going to aim to knock out the Dodrio on my bench. Oh, it goes for the Dene actually. Okay. And we might see another Sinister Fog then. No, it goes for the Creep Show, goes for knockouts. It takes one more prize. We are going to respond with the Dodrio. Get a knockout with our Dodrio. And then our opponent will probably knock out our own Dodrio. I'm actually gonna attach just the fighting energy, keep the rainbow energy in my hand. Do I want to bench another Diglett? Not really. If I use the Birch, then we could shuffle it back into our deck. So we are gonna hit for a rage attack, getting that knockout. 100 damage. Pretty nice there. But unfortunately it's probably gonna be too late. And there is the invisible Crobat. Once again. What is wrong with these? I don't understand what's wrong with those cards. That doesn't make sense. Let's promote the last Dodrio that we have. This is the last attacker that we have. If this attacker goes down, it's gonna be game, unless we can get a scrape down going. But I don't think we can really. Oh man, my opponent even gets a Sacred Ash, filling up his deck, so the scrape down will come too late. My opponent has too many cards left in the deck. We don't have the time to attach enough energies for the scrape down. And there's this counter stadium, so we'll see the Dodrio go down as well if my opponent can find a Gengar. Just finds a Ghastly, no Gengars just yet, unless he can get it with the Abyssal Hand. And there it is, there is the Gengar, so we'll see another knockout. Oh boy. Yep, this is it. We have lost the game here. I don't think there's anything we can do. We'll promote the Dene. And then we'll attach a Floatstone to the Dene. Attach a Rainbow Energy to the Durant. And call it GG, because we cannot do anything. We cannot do a single thing there. We got outspeeded by the Gengar deck. That's for sure. I think that turn without the energy attachment cost us a chance at staying in the game. Cheers, man, friends, he says. Sure thing. I'd love it. Very nice, a very nice person. Oops. I don't know why that didn't come through. Well, it seems like my message didn't come through. The PTCGO bugged out again. So hopefully, what's his name? Freeland? Yeah, I'll send him a request. Let's take a look at the stats. We dealt 540 damage. My opponent only dealt 180, but that's because my opponent was using the Creep Show from the Gengar. Dugtrio is MVP against Golbat. And that basically says enough. Probably what screwed us over was the Golbat being invisible. And since then we weren't able to find the Golbat to attack it. So yeah, that's a little bit of a... it's not a fair advantage for my opponent having those invisible Pokemon. I'm gonna blame those invisible Pokemon. So that's gonna be it for today. I think we had 3 very quick wins and then one very long loss. I think that balances out. So if you enjoyed this very silly deck idea, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more very silly deck ideas. I wouldn't suggest trying this deck out. It's really not that good, but it's just fun to play around with strategies like that once in a while. If I would make one recommendation after playing around with the deck, I would actually suggest to remove some muscle bands from the list. Let's have a look at the list while we talk. To remove some muscle bands from the list and replace them with focus sashes. So I'd probably remove 3 muscle bands and replace them with 3 focus sashes. Keep 1 muscle band in there, and I'll probably also get rid of the strong energies, replace them with just normal basic fighting energies, because we saw it cost us the game, or at least a chance at the game in the last game that we played. And those would be my recommendations if you want to try this list out. Removing the Durant could definitely be a possibility. It was more of a gimmicky idea to have it in there as another win condition. So I hope you have a Karptastic day, and I will be seeing you on Friday with a fun Friday episode.
Karp, 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 Karp.